And today's session, I would like to continue the last session. Hope all of you are able to see my virtual box. And here
Yes.
I have so many. There are 4 different VMs here. One of the VMs is Heartenwork Sandbox, which I downloaded from the Cloudera. And this is a full-fledged Ubuntu. There is a virtual machine with a name Ubuntu. It has all perfectly set up. Apart from that, there are 2 machines here, Hadoop master and Hadoop slave. These 2 machines are 2-node Hadoop cluster, not Beowulf cluster, Hadoop cluster. Because after installing Hadoop, a Beowulf cluster will turn into a Hadoop cluster. And a traditional cluster is called a Beowulf cluster. Beowulf cluster. It is there in my book. I didn't publish that book. A Beowulf cluster is a computer cluster of what are normally identical commodity grade. It is important. Commodity grade computers network into a small local area network. Non-identical commodity grade computers networked into a small local area network with the libraries and programs installed which allow processing to be shared among them. That is what is the definition. Number 1, they're all identical. All the computers must be identical. And the commodity grade computers, not the big deployments. But IBM mainframes is not a commodity grade computer. Oracle Solaris is not a commodity grade computer. My laptop is a commodity grade computer, just a plug and play kind of thing. I can just buy a hardware device and then plug it, and it should be functional. Even in networks, so we must be able to attach any computer of similar type, identical, or some extent. In Hadoop, you don't need to have the identical cluster. You can even have, identical machines. It should belong to all the machines need to have the Linux. We can't install Hadoop a few machines in Linux and few Atlagadu. So some extent it should be identical. So let me not take the day to cross the limits. And so Beowulf cluster is a computer cluster of what are normally identical commodity grade computers networked into a small local area network with libraries and programs installed which allow processing to be shared among them. So we must be able to share the assets. Asset means data. One computer. The result is a high performance parallel computing cluster for inexpensive personal computer hardware. Personal computer hardware. So we should be able to network with the help of the personal computer labs and personal computers. They're all PCs. They're not industry level. Deployments of certain size. Solaris. The name Beowulf originally referred to a specific computer built in 1994 by Thomas Stirling and Donald Becker at NASA. The name Beowulf comes from the Old English epic poem of the same name, Beowulf. Hadoop, there is no meaning why Hadoop name was given to Hadoop. It was just a kind of, an instantaneous reflex. No particular piece of software defines a cluster as a Beowulf. Typically, only the free and open source software is used. Most of the software is free and open source in Beowulf, both to save the cost and allow customization. Most Beowulf clusters run Unix-like operating systems. Unix-like operating systems and Linux operating systems, such as BSD, Linux, Solaris. So blah blah blah. You have OpenMPI, MPI-CH. These are the traditional tools required for and Hadoop mundu unna tools. Before Hadoop, this communication network-based communications were taken care by these utilities: OpenMPI, MPI-CH. OpenMPI is message parsing interface. MPI stands for message parsing interface. Message passing, not parse. PRSC, passing. Message passing interface. Passing the message from one place to the other place. MPICH. This is I don't know what exactly message standard for message passing for distributed memory applications. Message passing interface. CH అంటే ఏంటో నాకు తెలీదు, and I never cared actually. So even utilities on the MPI, actually MPI is a standard message passing interface. The MPI is there are so many demonstrations online. మీరు Raspberry Pi stacks అని ఉంటాయి. అది 3,000 rupees. When I bought the Raspberry Pi, I have two machines with me. When I bought it was 2,701 and 3,001. Raspberry Pi cluster. This is the cluster. This is a Raspberry Pi cluster. It looks like a rack in the data center. మనకి AWS లో అదే పెద్ద పెద్ద మెషిన్స్ కాకుండా చిన్న ఇంత ఉంటుంది, మనకి జస్ట్ చేతిలో వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ అ స్మాల్ సెట్ ఆఫ్ Raspberry Pi modules. This is you can buy this. Actually it's a $14 it seems somewhere, but I don't know, in Amazon you can see each one is a computer here. 1 2 3 4 computers are there, and all of them will have a switch, means router, and from router so ఇది prototyping అన్నమాట. ఒక వ్యూ క్లస్టర్ prototyping చేసుకోవచ్చు, చాలా బాగుంటుంది. ఇది స్మాల్ సెట్ ఇంత ఈ సైజ్ లో వచ్చేస్తుంది. దిస్ ఇస్ అదే మీరు డేటా సెంటర్స్ లో చూస్తే, ఇఫ్ యూ లుక్ ఎట్ డేటా సెంటర్ గూగుల్ డేటా సెంటర్ ఇమేజెస్ చూడండి. దిస్ ఇస్ డేటా సెంటర్, గూగుల్ డేటా సెంటర్. This is how the data centers looks like. Right side, you should see right side. Maintaining here, a person is standing just before. This rack, which was the rack of different processors. People are. This is aisle. People walk in this aisle. Okay, so data centers looks like this. So here, one person is standing in the aisle, and he is troubleshooting. I don't know. He's managing. Administration. He is performing the administration. So you can see the rack very clearly. Racks, you can see the racks clearly standing like pillars here. So this is a data center. This rack is a collection of machines. So you can also create your own data center at home with Raspberry Pi machines. So each Raspberry Pi costs 3,000 rupees. And if we buy a static IP address, it costs a lot. Static IP address. We can offer this service to outbound. You can offer outbound services. I mean, you can sell your data center to outside people. If you have static IP, there are many things. So that is actually the cloud. Cloud service. Google and Google Cloud Center and data center. Google Cloud data center. There are thousands of computers set up in like pillars, and they offer an IP address, and this IP address, through this IP address, users will connect to the machines in their data center. That is what is cloud. Cloud is the machine somewhere. A remote machine is what is called cloud. So we can just so instead of using cloud, it saves a lot of cost. I'll give you a small example. In Geetam, employees, all of us, we bought laptops. What is the cost of each laptop? It's a 1 lakh, roughly 1,50,000 rupees, 20 to 30. It all depends on the configuration. Maximum 1,50,000 rupees and 1,10,000, 20,000. I think my machine is close to 1.5 lakhs, 1.35 or something. I don't remember exactly. But why I spent a lot of money on this computer, because the whole infrastructure is there in this computer. I need very powerful machine because this machine has all softwares and all. But today, the HDFS ఉందనుకోండి. So now this is actually the scale of operations and everything. మీరు operations లో చదవాలి. Operations management లో మీకు వస్తుంది అనమాట. So strategy, operation and business strategy, production and operations and business strategy. So the company, if they can offer infrastructure, I mean IT infrastructure through cloud, employees don't need to spend 1,50,000 rupees on their machines. Just 20,000. There is a Google Chromebook. Not even 20,000 rupees. I think you can even get it for less than 20,000 rupees. Yeah, Dell Chromebook, 7,350 refurbished. You see here, HP Chromebooks, 26,500 rupees. If you go to Amazon, you will get it for 25,000 rupees. Where is 25,000 rupees? Where is 1,50,000 rupees? Chromebook is sufficient if the IT infrastructure is in the cloud. But certain day, I installed my R Studio, I installed my Jupyter. I have my own editor in my system, and you have your editors. We don't need to have this many. All of us don't need to install these editors in our systems if these are installed in the cloud. We can just access the info. So this is infrastructure. This is what is called the production strategy. So companies need to take a better decision. Decision stamina. Decision is a precious resource today. Decision is always a problem actually, because a person who takes decision must have brain. That is the problem. And everybody thinks they have brain. So yeah, I don't know how many of you might be criticizing me. I think I have brain. I don't know how many of you might be thinking that I don't have the brain. Kind of, this is the problem in the world. Okay, so I'm talking about the Beowulf cluster. So this, I hope everybody of you understood what is the Beowulf cluster. Now I have a two-node cluster here. This is actually a Beowulf cluster, but after installing Hadoop, this is Hadoop cluster. Okay, so now there are two clusters, two types of clusters. As far as our discussion is concerned, there may be n number of clusters, and I'm not. It doesn't matter to me. But for me, since I'm teaching, I do a lot of research related to Hadoop. So to me, Hadoop cluster is sufficient. So there is Beowulf cluster, which is a traditional cluster, and when we install Hadoop, it will turn up into a Beowulf cluster. Now I'm going to start my cluster. So this is simulation only. Please be cautious, all of you. I'm using a methodology called simulation plus virtualization. I'm using virtualization technology for network simulation. This simulation is it. I'm going to start the slave. I'm starting two of the machines. So these are the two machines. I simulated two machines inside my computer. You know, many of you must be thinking that this is how the clusters are created. No, this is not how clusters are created. Clusters are created. Mana computer lab undi kada. We have computer lab, and there are a number of machines inside the lab. And if we convert that lab into a cluster, Hadoop cluster, that is, so there are a number of independent machines, and we have to set up the Hadoop on that cluster, Adi cluster, real-time cluster. This is only simulation. I'm simulating computers inside my host Windows machine. My base machine is Windows, and I simulated two computers. And these computers mimics like two different computers with two different set of assets, like processor, memory. I think this is Hadoop, I guess, for this. Now it is possible for you to. So in my last class, I think I used RAM to demo you how to set up a secure login system. And in this session, I'm just going to show you. So let me open the terminal here. And I also open the terminal in base computer, CMD. Okay. So did I explain you this? Because I've been dealing two different classes, I think I handled this system concept somewhere. I think nobody will respond me. Ram, did I handle this? Did I show you the multi-node cluster?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is the host computer, my Windows computer, and these are the two Linux computers. Now, three of them are in network. This is three-node cluster. Now in Windows, if config will let you know them. See, my IP address is 192.168.08. Now here in Linux, if config, there are many. See, there are two adapters and one loopback, which means localhost. And this is a network adapter, bridge. This is actually the network adapter, and this is the public, for public address. And this is the LAN address, and this is the local address. Let me open this if config. So here this address is 192.168.56.104. This is 101. So two machines missed actually. So Madhula two machines under 102, 103 I created, and and destroy. So here this is 10.0. This cannot be identical. It shows that these two machines are clones, and the slave is a clone of master, because you see here the address 10.0.2.15 and 10.0.2.15 same ID. So we cannot use this ID. The ID news shell, when we are using the clone, there is an option include all network adapters and the MAC address and everything. Create new address and shell. Suppose, see, I have this machine. You see clone. ఈ క్లోన్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఒక స్టేజ్ లో మిమ్మల్ని అడుగుతుంది అనమాట. సో నెట్వర్క్ అడ్రస్ ఏం చేస్తావు, వాట్ డూ వాంట్ టు డూ విత్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్. అప్పుడు మనం we should choose an option, create a new address and new IP address as well as MAC address. So that is actually, this is a MAC address, this is a MAC address, this is a MAC address. C is 71B, and here the MAC address is different, but whereas IP address is the same. Here B807 and 2171, because MAC address is attached to the machine hardware, and this is a virtual address, just a kind of software level, an abstraction level address, and this network address always is attached to the machine. Every machine must have a different MAC address. So this look back. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to ping from master to the slave. So there are two ways I can ping that. So what is the slave's address? 192.168.56.104. It is pinging, right? Which means I'm able to connect to the slave from master. Now I go to the slave and then ping 192.168.56.101. That is master. Now I'm able to ping. Now let me see if I can connect to these two machines from my base. Okay, my base Windows machine. Ping. I think this keeps going. In Linux it will not stop. Ping 198.168.1, which is master. 192.168.56.101. This is ping 192.168.56.101. What is the mistake here? Yeah, so it's pinging now. Now let me ping 104. That is slave. Also ping. So that means that three of these computers are able to communicate with each other. That means that all these three computers are in the same network. They are in the same network. And now, so I may not be able to, because this computer, I think this is MKS users is not a valid address in ID code. I think in this my computer name is MK. Yes, this MK, system name MK. So so what I do is I cannot let's see, like SSH. Now I'm going to log into the, this is what is secured login, passwordless secured login. I'm doing it now. So I'm trying to log in from master to slave. SSH 192.168.56.104. Okay, now okay, SSH. It just logs in. Here even it would ask me, the key and other things. Actually, something went wrong in Ram's case, but we have to do it. That entire step we have to do it again. So now you see I am in. No. I logged into the same master. I'm sorry. So exit, and now 104 is the slave. You see here, it is Hadoop. This is what I was talking yesterday. So if you log into the server in the same machine, your prompt will not change. Now you see I am in the server. Hadoop dash slave. ఇప్పుడు నేను slave లో ఒక పని చేస్తాను. ls dash a. You see, I must be having. I don't have. I should be having. Do I have slave.txt? So I just created one machine. So and then open this. I will delete this file sudo rm slave.txt. Now only to recognize that I created this file to know that I can look at here. See, the name of this machine is Hadoop slave and the prompt is also slave, right? So I don't. So what it did is ls-a. Okay, now slave, that file is not there, it disappeared. I removed it. Now I'm in slave right here in master. The master lo slave lo unna. Master lo lena. I'm inside the slave machine. Ippudu ls-a. You see, this is actually the slave assets. చూడండి, ఇది slave assets, same identical. ఇప్పుడు నేను మాస్టర్ లో స్లేవ్ మెషిన్ లో ఒక ఫైల్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాను. sudo touch slave dot txt. That is my password. Okay. Okay. Unless I have this, file is being created, but I did that task inside the master. Now here, let me come here, ls. You see, I got the slave. If now in slave, I open this file. Sudo get it open section. Slave lo assets slave key. Master lo get it open punch. I'm opening the text file. I put this is a slave. Then I'll just see what is there inside the slave. Slave.txt. There is nothing, right? Now I'm going to put some text here. This is a slave machine. Now I save this. Where did I put the text? In slave. Now let me come back to the master. ls sudo cat slave. I'm in the slave machine. So this is actually kind of now I have I will just come out of this exit. I came out of, now you see my prompt has been changed from slave to master. Now I'm back in the master. Now here you see I got a file master. I just delete this sudo rm master. I want to create this from slave. When in master, I'm in slave now. So my host name is host name. I'm in slave. And now let ssh 192.168.56.101. That is the master IP address. You see, the prompt changes to master. Now I am in the master. ls sudo gedit panchayadu. అంటే గ్రాఫిక్ ఐ మీన్ మాస్టర్ రిమోట్ లో ఉన్నాను కాబట్టి రిమోట్ లాగిన్ లో GUI పనిచేయదు. we should use only, so I use nano master dot txt. You see here I don't have master. I deleted it. Now this is master machine. Okay, control O, control X. Now ls, you see master file is there, and now see earlier the master file was not there. Now I am going to ls. There is master file now. Cat master. This is a master machine. Now I can also do the same thing here. Cat master, because I am in the master machine. I'm not in the slave machine. Though this computer is slave, I'm in the master machine. So now all the assets of the master machine can be accessible in the slave machine. So that is how, this is what is called, Beowulf cluster. Last one, I think we still have a few minutes of time. There is another way of, see, I will exit here. I will try to exit. Now I'm in slave. I came back to slave. It is also possible to log in through, the DNS, domain names server. I mean, it's not DNS actually, the domain name, which means, say this machine is Hadoop slave, and this machine is, that is the named, that is the name of the machine. Okay, host name. So this is Hadoop master, and host name, this is Hadoop slave. Now it is also possible, instead of I used IP to log in, but now I'm going to use the name SSH Hadoop slave. It logs in. Now you see Hadoop slave. Now as a matter of trust, see, I'm in the slave machine. Now I can also log in from here, SSH, Hadoop, master. I'm a slave. It's possible because there is nothing. It's very simple. See, I have two different machines, right? This is Hadoop slave is the clone of the Hadoop master. These are cloned. Slave is cloned from the master. Immediately after cloning, what you need to do is you see sudo it is and setup check. How do you need to set up the network? It's very simple. Once you have the operating system in your machine and you have SSH, then what you need to do is that sudo gedit or gedit. Let's see hosts. I think I've shown you this file, isn't it, Ram? Yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Hosts. The file opens just there. Oh, I'm in slave. Okay, let me exit. So slave lo gedit panchayat. That is what I said. I should use name. Master lo unnadu. So I put the same. That is a slave history lo untadi. A command. So sudo gedit. This is a place where we configure the hosts. Hosts ani oka gedit. Why it is we choose not like that. There is a local host. This Hadoop is not there actually. It was old. I can delete it. You see, there are two addresses here. One is the master address, another one is the slave address. Okay, that's it. That is what you have to do in both the machines. So once you install OS appropriately in these computers, you just have to update this, host file. You are telling this operating system. You see, there is these two machines are in the same network. అని చెప్తున్నా ఇప్పుడు నేను దీన్నే ఇక్కడ కూడా ఓపెన్ చేస్తాను sudo gedit I'm in master, right? I should exit. I'm in slave. Sudo gedit etc and then hosts. Same file is same. So these two files must be identical. You see here, I mentioned the IP address of this is what is called configuration, network configuration. So if you ensure the IP addresses of the two machines, suppose if I have the third machine, I can come here and put that IP address, and the three of the machines will be in network, not the Windows machine. But there are ways to include the Windows machine also into the Linux. So theoretically, it is possible, and practically, I should see the documentation. Then I can tell you. But right now, these are the two, because my idea is to teach you Beowulf cluster, which means we need to have the same. Both of the machine, all the machines must be identical. See here, this is a Windows machine which is not identical. So this is not useful for our discussion. That's why I never tried. But if it is my requirement, I surely will do. So ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలంటే ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసిన తర్వాత, if you think that my both machines are perfect and they're working fine, now you have to update the IP addresses with the host names in the hosts file inside etc directory. That's it. Now both of the computers, that is what the single step you have to do in order to create a LAN. Now both the computers are in LAN and they start and you have to create the key, and I'll show you, like I'll take you to the authorized keys. Actually, we have done the ls-a. You see, I have SSH. I already created cd.ssh ls. I have authorized keys, right? Cat authorized keys. You see, I should be having this is search. This is, do I have Hadoop on this? So when I created this key, I was the actual name of this computer was Hadoop, and that is not correct. I have to update the key. This is yours. There should be two keys here. Okay, this is Hadoop, and then see, if I think this is the slaves. I would have created the key after configuring it. Okay, cd.ssh, and now it is not clear anymore. That is what cat authorized. Okay, you got Hadoop. So okay, anyway, so I don't want to confuse you. I think this is the master's key and this is the slave's key, because here this public key is brought into, both keys are same, I guess. AAA B3, AAA B3, yeah, both keys are same. It doesn't matter which key is master's key, which key is the slave's key. So both machines must have the same public key. Okay, as long as the key is same, ante kada ippudu suppose we have an office and you have the key, I have the key of the office. So if the both keys are, as long as both keys are same, it doesn't matter. Both office is in control of you and me. So ఈ రెండు keys ఒకటే కాబట్టి this is in. So when you create a public key, see that this public key is in both machines inside a file called authorized keys. Okay. And then go to this is the step number 1. Create the key, keep it inside authorized keys, create a file authorized keys, and copy this key into the authorized keys. And then go to sudo gedit, let's see, host. And now here you have to tell the operating system, this is a master, 101 is a master name, this is a master, whatever it is, XYZ, doesn't matter. 101 is this is the name of the 101 and this is the name of the slave. Now this computer identifies 104 as with this name in the network. This is theory behind networking. Now the final thing, I'm going to deploy ఈ 2 computers లో నేనేం చేస్తానంటే I'm just going to I convert one of the computers as a server. ఎలా server ఎలా అవుతుంది, when the port address an IP address together with the port is open. ఈ కంప్యూటర్ లో ఏదో ఒక పోర్ట్ ని IP address తో ఓపెన్ చేస్తే ఆ పోర్ట్ యూనివర్సల్ గా అవైలబిలిటీ ఉంటే then we have that is called a server. Server means which serves client request. దానికి we need a language. Hello, are you all following what I'm talking, or am I just going on?
Following, sir.
I don't. Abhishekta, are you there in the class? Abhishekta. I put it in class. I saw so many times Abhishekta sleeping in my class. So she's not reacting. Abhishekta are there and I respond. So I did a statement. At least I thought she will react. But she's not even reacting to my statement. Rishita, are you there? All of them are not there. I think Dinesh should be there. Uma Mahesh, are you there? Kritika?
Yes, sir.
Evaru? Yes, sir.
Sir,
Kritika, you are there? Oh my God. At least one of the. So Kritika is there. She is listening to me. And then Andara Hussein, are you there? Manikanta? Sahiti? This is, ironically, you paid for this class. This is a paid class. This is not a free class. Okay, now to convert, I am going to show you how to convert one of the computers as a server. Programming language kavali. I'm going to use Python. So Python there are different frameworks, Flask and Django. నేను ఒక చిన్న Flask application deploy చేస్తాను master లో, and let's see if we can access that web application from the there is a minimum Flask example. Don't care actually. See, I'm not going to teach you web development in this. I just wanted to, so that is why I'm talking everything in bits and pieces. I'm only using, this is a minimum application. Where do we, yeah, this is the home directory for the Flask pellets projects.com. When it goes to, there is a lot of documentation for Flask. There are minimum application. This is a minimum application. I think all of you studied Python, right? Hello guys. Ram, is it Python over?
We are having it this semester, sir.
Oh,
It's
this
going
one.
on.
Correct. Big data and Python రెండు ఒకసారి.
Yes.
So ఇది Python code ఇది. Python లో ఏంటంటే this is the statement to import the requirements. The Flask is అనేది library అన్నమాట. So అది I should దాన్ని ఫస్ట్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి. అంటే ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు ఇన్స్టాల్ ఫస్ట్ పైథాన్ ఉందో లేదో చూడాలి. Python -- version. Python is there. Python 3.8 is there, right? Now Python package install చేయాలంటే pip install, because ఇప్పటి వరకు నేను I think let me say pip show Flask. Pip is Flask ఉంది, it's already there, I installed it. అది లేకపోతే మీరు ఏం చేయాలంటే అంటే Python packages ని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలంటే pip install Flask. Let me enter and see what's happening. It's already there, so I don't need to pip. Another framework is Django. Pip show Django. Sure. Pip Django. Django లేదు. So it's not installed. I can just install pip install Django. The latest version of Django will be installed. అది ఎలా అవుతుందో చూపిస్తాను. అదే అలా. This is how the packages will be installed. Python packages will be installed in. You see in Linux we install the ఇక్కడ కూడా అంతే. Suppose if I, what is that? Yeah, here. Windows లో కూడా అంతే. So I have Python here. Python. I think Python -- version. ఇక్కడ Windows లో I have 3.10. Now pip show Django. I already have Django because web development is in Windows. I have Django, but that is a virtual machine. See, I have Django. The version is 3.2.9. That is the Django version. Okay. Same Windows or Linux, same. Successfully installed. Now pip show Django. Django is installed. Alana pip show another. There is a package called NumPy. Numerical Python antaru. Numerical. Oh, it is not there. Okay, fine. So Flask is there now. So I can just go and deploy this. I deploy somewhere in my home directory, pwd in home. I call it as sudo make directory Flask app. Yes. cd Flask app. Just a directory. That's it. Okay. Now sudo gedit. I call it as app.py. That is how. This is a server script. App.py is a server script. I can also use a different name, but I want to app.py. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఏం చేస్తానంటే ఈ మినిమం లో ఉంది కదా, దీన్ని తీసుకొచ్చి కాపీ చేస్తాను. This is a minimum documentation required to start a server. Python Flask server. So what is this code? From Flask import Flask. We are importing a class called Flask from the library Flask. This is how the imports were done in Python. And I'm creating an object called app with this class. This is a class. Object-oriented programming. You have class. We use classes to create the objects. So I'm creating an object called app with that class. And this is an argument for this name. Name is an argument. And this is a route. In websites, we have the routes, right? Home, contact. Suppose if you go to any website, you will have, maybe I can go to Amazon, say in Amazon. So this is the basic address. Amazon, this is DNS. And the address, this is bought somewhere. And the address man konukovalannamata. Otherwise, this will be something like 192 dot something like something blah 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 blah. Now let me go to some page. I'll go to. Let me see if I can go to home. Home is. I don't think home will be there. Yeah, it is there. Okay. Home, kitchen, something. You see here. This is a route. In a route enter. Home, kitchen, and that is a home and home. By default, it goes. This is the route and what. ఇప్పుడు ఇది లేదనుకోండి, this is the route // అది ఈ //. So I can also call it as home, doesn't matter. Okay, save. Now this is a hello world application. It just prints hello world. So okay, save. Now come back. Okay, Now app is there, Python 3 app.py. I think I have to add one more sudo gedit app.py. Something is missing here. I will add that. If name, the name ఉంది కదా అది, if name, this app is the main module is equal to, don't care, this is not in your syllabus. I'm just giving you a demo. Main, if it's a main module, then app debug అవసరం లేదు, debug is equal to true. ఇప్పుడు ఇదే రన్ అవుతుంది. If name is equal to main, if it's a main module, then app run this app. So let's see, Python 3 app.py. Yeah, the server is started, and this is the address of the server 127. I told you, this is the local host. Now this is the server which is the local host. ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి కుదరదు నా ఉద్దేశం, ఎందుకంటే లోకల్లో ఓపెన్ అయింది. If I click on this, let's see what's going to happen. Or I can go to the browser and then use 127.0.0.1:5000. That is the port address. Not from the server entered URL manually. Please check your spelling at 127.0.0.5000. Okay, home అనుకుంటాను కదా. Oh, this is hello world. Now go to the ఇది ఓపెన్ అవుతుందా లేదో నాకు తెలియదు, ఎందుకంటే I should universal. I deployed it as a local instance. Let's see, try. So 127.0.0.1:5000/home. It's not going on. దానికి ఏం చేయాలంటే, so what I need to do is I close this server, Control C అంతే, sudo gedit app.py. దీన్ని యూనివర్సల్ మార్చాలి. So host is equal to 0.0.0.0 and debug is true, 0.0.0.0. So now it becomes a universal. Okay, it started. So at this point in time, if I refresh my server is still on, and here it's not coming. Okay, let me go back and I use 192 dot రావాలి మామూలుగా 4 to 5000 192.168.56.101. Actually open అవ్వాలి, ఎందుకు ఓపెన్ అవ్వట్లేదు I don't know. I have to troubleshoot this. So 5000 ఇప్పుడు okay. So now Hadoop master 5000. oh yes. So ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ Hadoop master 5000/4. It's working. అలా వచ్చిందంటే వర్క్ అవుతుంది అన్నది. Oh yes. You see, I converted one of the machines as a server and I deployed a server application. This is just a small web application, hello world application. So you can just customize this. So మనం geetham.edu అంటే ఒక అప్లికేషన్ వస్తుంది అలా అన్నమాట. సో ది నేమ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్, ఇక్కడ మనం DNS వాడుకోవాలి. geetham.edu అంటే ఇది hadoop-master:5000. Now let me go to my base computer, Windows machine లోకి వెళ్ళి ఇక్కడ చూద్దాం. I don't know actually. Hadoop master, it should work in theory. Hadoop master:5000/4. It's working. So 3 computers, all these 3 computers are in there. It is possible to access that web application from because all these computers are in the network. So hope all of you are following what I'm trying. So this is what is called the Beowulf cluster. If you are able to access the application irrespective of the place of the computer, So I'm able to open this web application within my Viol cluster using 3-node. From any node, I can enter into this. I'll close my class here. This is sufficient for today's class.